Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. Today I'm going to be doing some no-line coloring with these adorable baby animals. They're so cute. It's from this stamp set from Not Too Shabby, Safari Animals. It is their clear stamp and die of the month for January 2024. I think these animals are so darn cute. I really wanted to try doing no-line coloring with them, so I'm using Fade Out ink by Ink on 3, and this is designed to stamp a line for you so you can color it. So there really is a line. It just somehow got the name No Line Coloring because you're going to color on the line with your coloring medium, whereas if you stamp these in black, you would color like inside the black line. So it just gives it more of like a color book feel, a little softer vibe, and it's really cute. I love it on little critters especially. I don't know why, but it's also pretty with flowers. So give this a try if you haven't, and maybe you have. Maybe you're like super duper good at no line coloring. This might not be the video for you. I would not say that I am an expert at any means in no line coloring, but I will share with you what I'm doing, and I love doing it. I think it's so much fun. So therefore I continue to do it. I love the end result. Sometimes when you're like in the middle of no line coloring, you're like, oh my word, this is no good. And you just have to keep going. So don't give up, keep going. And with like Copic markers, you can, sometimes have a little bit of forgiveness by blending on another color. So yeah, I will show you that when I choose the wrong marker on the lion. But for my little elephant here, I started with some warm gray markers. So it was warm gray number 6 for my darkest color, which is what I used to outline this elephant. And throughout this process, like I've no line colored before, but I don't have like any hard and fast rules about no line coloring. But what I think I like the most is when I outline the image with my darkest color and then color it in. But I would say that sometimes that isn't always the case. Like I'm going to do some flowers today and I didn't do that for those. So, but as a rule with animals, I like to have my darkest color be the outline. And so that's what I did with this elephant. He is so cute. I did take a little black pen and make a dot inside of his eye. It just needed a little bit of a pupil. Okay, now on to the lion. He's so cute with this hair. Like his mane looks like a hair. It's really, really cute. So I'm starting with my E35 marker and just kind of tracing on all of those lines. Now here's the other thing. If you don't trace on the line like perfectly, it's not that big of a deal. However, I was going to try to use the coordinating dies to die cut this out. So I was trying to stay, as close to possible as I could with those lines. But with this fade out ink, like it fades away over time, it makes it sometimes tricky to see the actual line. So I brought in the stamp set as kind of a reference so I could see what I might be missing there. All right, so then I brought in my E33 marker and made like the lines I colored just a little bit thicker with this. And so that is just going to help start filling in the image. And I did play with the hair quite a bit. I ended up going in and doing some flicks and whatnot, and that just really adds a little bit of like highlighting and texture to the hair. And I thought, I know it's a mane, but it really brought it to life. So here you can see I'm kind of flicking the marker and it just like feathers out the end instead of making it like a perfect line. So I loved that look, and I like how it even goes around his chin. So cute. All right, my lightest color here is E53. I will use this color a lot for like the inside of his ears, the inside of his tummy, and like the pads on the bottom of his feet. Now it is nice too when you can go back in with your darkest color and add a little bit more shading. So that's what I'm doing here. All right, so here's the tummy and the little feet. I am doing the E53, sorry. And I actually do go back in with some of my darker colors later and add a little bit more shading there. Now, here's where I kind of messed up. I brought in Y21, but the marker I meant to grab was YR21. So I'm going around this and just like, oh gosh, I'm not loving this. Like it's it's too pastel yellow. I wanted like something a little bit more golden. And so I brought in the, I did YR31, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm sorry that I thought I had pushed record. There's a few times in today's video I thought I had stopped recording, and so then I pushed to record, and I didn't actually push to record. These are life problems that content creators face. So that happened here. And then once I did mess around more with my YR31 and YR21, I decided to bring in this E33 marker, the like mid-tone I used on his hair, and I traced everything out, and it really just brought it to life. Now, maybe you don't want to look at this like really super duper up close because some of my yellow was outside of this line, but it's totally fine. Like, he looks really cute in the end. I'm so thrilled with how it turned out. And I'm glad I kept going because he turned out adorable. Yeah. Now, coloring this one gave me the idea to like use these colors for the giraffe, which I saved for last. You should know that giraffes are my favorite, like my favorite animal. They're so, I don't know, graceful, but they're big. So I don't know what it is about giraffes. The eyelashes maybe get me. Yeah, I actually once got to feed a giraffe. It's a highlight in my life. Yeah. Very cool. All right, so I'm coloring out his little brown spots with my E33 marker. And here I just wasn't exactly sure like how dark I wanted to go. So that's why I started out with the mid-tone, and I actually did end up going in with a little bit darker colors on some of these areas. But having the mid-tone marker down first kind of just became like the inside part, and then I outlined it with the darker color. So I like the outline with the darker color, but you don't always have to start with that. You can go light when you're not sure, and then go back and add in that darker line if that's, you know, where you feel you need to go with it. So he is just so very cute. This is what made me so excited about this stamp set of the month. Now, Not Too Shabby has a new stamp and die of the month every month, and you can subscribe and get them in the mail, and they're always something fun and something different, and it's, you know, a cute set at a great value. So I am loving playing with this one. I think critters are like one of my most favorite things to stamp and color and play with. So this one was right up my alley. Here you can see I'm adding the E57, and I'm going around all of his spots. And this was like what he needed, was just that hint of darkness around the edge. And I darkened up the facial features as well as like the little, I want to call them horns on the top of his head. Yeah. All right, so then I'm coming back in with E33 and adding some color to the darker part of his face and his ears, and you can see I'm just flicking that out, and that's going to give it kind of a soft texture. And then I'll come in with the E53, so see the same colors that I used on my lion, and I'm just like blending that out, like making that colored area bigger, but also going over what I colored to push out that dark color. And then I kind of softened out the point where it goes down to his nose with that E53 as well. All right, now we're coming in with YR21. This is the color I wish I would have started with for my lion, but I'm doing that with the giraffe so you can see it, even though on the lion I missed the record button. You can see it here. So you can see it's a little bit more golden than a pastel yellow, and so it really works for these critters. And then I'll come in with my YR31 and blend that area out, making it a little bit bigger. And I did actually go ahead and incorporate some of that Y21, that really soft yellow, for like my lightest color, and I think that it really lends itself well when I'm using the other two colors. It works. It can be my lightest color, and loved how it turned out. Super cute little critters, don't you think? Oh, check them out. Okay, the last step, I added some white gel pen for a little bit of highlight in some areas, and I really think that helps bring them to life, especially like with their eyes. You add a few lines and dots in there, and the highlights make all the difference. And I was able to die cut them out. Okay, we're going to set those aside and work on the background. So I'm taking the leaf from this set and some Forest Glades ink, which is a little shade darker than my cardstock, which is 8.5. no, 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm making a slimline card, and I'm just randomly stamping this all over to create a background. Now, maybe you saw my hop video where Not Too Shabby had a hop to celebrate this release, and I made a frame, and I used the monkey from this set. So I wanted to kind of use some of the ideas from that card where I made a leafy frame and then put the monkey inside. So I am going to make a leafy frame for this. So that's why I'm darkening up the edges, but I'm going to do like a frame with 3 different openings. Yeah, that's kind of my idea for this one. All right, so now I'm adding some metallic watercolor as splatter. This darker sage color green I thought was a good contrast, and then I also decided to go with gold because of the golden yellow tones in the paper, and there's a close-up look at all that splatter. I love it. Okay, here we have the Slimline stacked circle die set. It's from Trinity Stamps, and you can see there's 2 rectangles you can use around the circles. You can use the 2 rectangles together, however you want to use it, but you can also use the circles all by themselves if you already have your panel cut out, which allows you to cut it closer to the top, closer to the bottom. You know, you could do it like a little crossways, like however. So I had actually moved mine up a little bit, giving me more room at the bottom. Also, the circles in that die set leave an embossed line around the edge, so it's either on the ones that are there on my frame or on the circles that fall out. Now I am taking the African Critters paper pad, which is another like subscription offering at Not Too Shabby, and you can get 2 paper pads in the paper pad of the month, and then they also have ephemera that will match that you can add on. So I picked out 2 patterns there, and did you see the one with the zebra on it? I'm going to use that one too. All right, so I cut these to 3 inches by 2 3/4, and I'm going to put them all in a row, so each of my little windows here is going to have a different pattern behind it. And then I'm going to pop up the frame, but I'm not making a shaker card. It's just a frame. I like dimension on my cards, so having this popped up is just so fun. All right, then I'm going to add my critters. I am popping them up as well, so this card has quite a bit of foam. It's quite thick, and around the animals' heads, the part that goes down in the circle, I actually had to double up the foam tape because that frame is already popped up. Now I'm stamping on the backside of this pattern paper because it's a solid color, and I know that this solid color is going to match the colors in the pattern paper, and that's what I love about the Not Too Shabby paper pads, is that they also have solids in there, so you don't have to like run and find a pad or, you know, a piece of cardstock that matches. All right, for my no line colored flowers from the stamp set, I did the darkest color in the center and kind of flicked it out like it was a star, and then I went around it with my lightest color, and I believe I used the YR21 and Y21 on the flowers. And then I'm going to glue those down around the frame, and let me just stop here and tell you that once I started embellishing this card in this way, I could not stop. Okay, next up is these honey baubles. They're from Trinity Stamps. They were like the perfect color for the center of my flowers and also to use as an embellishment for this card, and they have like a little bit of like a metallic sheen to them, which is really cool because I have that metallic splatter in the background. Okay, we're done with those, and I thought, okay, this card is done. It's beautiful. I'm going to move on and decorate the inside of this card. So I'm taking one of those circles from my little frame that I made, and then I'm going to add this zebra, which is part of the pattern paper pack, and it has these different images that you can cut out. So that's what I did. But I couldn't stop there. I had to stamp out some leaves. So I did some no line coloring with those as well. I actually really liked the third leaf that I did, where I outlined it first with my YG17 and did all the lines with that color, and that ended up being the darkest color for this. And then I brought in my lightest color and filled in the rest, and that's my YG03. And then I really liked this leaf the best. I did color the other two a little bit different, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and use them. They're not garbage, right? They're fine. And then I glued the leaves on, and I'm like, oh yeah, loving this. So I put one at each window, and I thought, okay, now I'm done. But then the one leaf above the elephant, I was like, that's weird. That's just weird. I can't. So I had to do one more leaf, and then I thought I'm going to put another flower there. But why do a stamped flower when you have this flower? right here. I'm going to cut that out. I decided I didn't want the greenery. I'm going to stick it right there. And then it matches the pattern paper. And I thought I was done then, but I wasn't. I felt the inside needed a flower too. And there was another flower like spread, like a little floral arrangement on that same piece that the zebra was on. So I cut that out. Yeah, by hand, and then stuck it inside with the zebra to finish off the look on the inside, and I'm pretty sure that finishes off this card. I mean, who knows? I could go back later and add more to it, but that is the card for today, featuring the clear stamp of the month and die set from Not Too Shabby for January 2024. If you want to see more of this stamp set, I will link the hop video for you next where I made the monkey cards. You can watch it after this, and I'll see you all again very soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!